Welcome aboard the new Prestige M48. This new multi-hull from Prestige Motor Yachts has shaken the multi-hull industry, winning a lot of awards in the first year since production began. At 50 feet, this vessel, being a multi-hull, has the onboard space and living area of what we would see on a 60-foot monohull. So it's really bringing a lot of space and design to a much smaller platform. Let's take a look through the boat that we have here on display. At the stern of the vessel we have this large tender lift platform. This is a hydraulic platform which lowers into the water to take the tender. There are chocks here that you can see. Outside of being a tender lift, this does become an extended bathing platform or extended aft deck. You can see the rails here come all the way up, so it's really an extension of the aft cockpit. Rated to 250 kilograms, this can take a high-field 3.6 meter tender with a 20 horsepower outboard. Boarding on the vessel is done straight from the dock onto the platform, so there's no need for a passerelle with the platform extending further aft than the sugar scoops. Just forward of the tender lift platform, we have a large storage locker here. This is great for lines, fenders, any tender gear, anything that you don't want really stored inside the rest of the boat. As well as it being great storage in here, we have a few things going on. We've got an optional passerelle here. So in the event that you don't want to board with the stern platform, the passerelle extends at deck level all the way out further. We also have a generator in there, but looking forward, heaps of storage, and you can see the water tanks as well. I'm now standing on the starboard hull, and we've got 4 steps up to the cockpit. Moving up into the aft cockpit, this really is a massive space with a lot of seating. I'd say you could probably get about 12 people in here. The focal point is really inwards, so it's a very social area. You know, we've got L-shaped couch here, a singular bench there, and then this large section around the stern. The furniture across the stern is loose. It's not molded furniture, so it's, we're not using fiberglass casings, but it is tied down with metal tie rods. So this gives you flexibility. If you have this from the factory, but you want to change, you want to move things around, it leaves this open area a little bit flexible down the line. This central section of the seating here is also removable. So when the platform is raised, you've got a clear walk-through access onto the platform, really extending this already very large cockpit. The table in this cockpit area is in 2 pieces for ease of access through to the transom, but it does fold out to create a big dining table, probably for 8 people here, lengthways across the back of the boat, which is a very nice setup. Access into the storage in the cockpit is also here, so that storage we looked at from the stern can be accessed through here. Engine room access either side. Also contains storage above the engines before we get down to the engines. So this engine room, it's not an engine room really, it is the engine room. We're actually on top of the engine here, but phenomenal storage space. So if you're concerned about storage on a multi-hull, it's really not an issue. We have storage in the central section forward of the platform, as well as these 2 storage lockers here. It's a bit of a technical room as well. We've obviously got our chargers, all our battery switches, isolators, breakers as well. But it's, again, to have 2 of these on a vessel of this size is just mind-blowing. Very impressed. Engines access through here. So just underneath me here, all these panels lift up for clean access for technicians, mechanics and servicing. A small bar fridge on port is also very easily accessible for when you're entertaining. The extra large cockpit on the back seamlessly connects with the galley that we have here on the starboard side. If I'm entertaining, if I've got friends on board, I've got very easy connection for hosting. I've also got very good connection to the internal dining area. The galley itself feels very secure. I feel like I'm really in the galley rather than kind of at the galley. Good work surfaces everywhere, plenty of prep space, double sink, which I think is very important, induction cooktop, and then a convection microwave as well. A full height fridge and plenty of storage, which we all know that storage is very important on a boat, underfloor storage as well. Moving to the port side of the saloon, we have this very large, comfortable looking dining / lounging area. I'd say you could easily seat 3 people down each side, 1 at either end. So we've got 8 dining internally, again, with very easy access to the galley. When this is not set up for dining, this can be your internal lounge. So there is a TV which comes on a lift out of the section here for your internal lounging. What I noticed looking through this boat is that the finer details have really been given a lot of attention. We've got beautiful marble worktops, the textured finishes throughout. We see this pattern throughout the boat. It really takes, something that looks great and it really makes it look fabulous. Prestige have a name for this in the industry. You know, the powerboats that Prestige make really come with a high level of fit out, and we see this evidently on the M48 that we're on at the moment. You'll notice looking around, there's not a lot of exposed fiberglass. I'd say 95% of the surfaces are either lined or textured finish to really just make it feel that little bit more special. So I think they've done very well. Just forward of the galley, we do have a external access, so I'd call it a lateral access, coming out to the side. So from the Helm Station, you've got easy access out to the cleat for maneuvering or parking. Moving forward again, we have the internal Helm Station. Now, I think this is a great setup. It doesn't take up a lot of room. It leaves a lot of the rest of the saloon for the living area, but it does give you a very comfortable internal Helm Station. This is an option. You know, the main Helm Station is up on the Flybridge, but we do see the majority of orders being placed with this feature because we're on a power cat. You know, we're not on a monohull powerboat. So when we go up through the speed range up past that 10, 12, 13, 14 knot speed, we don't get a lot of bow rise. So the bows stay quite low, so you don't lose any visibility. So this actually becomes a really well-positioned Helm Station, so you can do a lot of your maneuvering from here. Of course, for maneuvering in a marina, you might like to go upstairs on the Flybridge for more of a bird's eye view, but otherwise, you've got a very good position here. The wheel is quite high, which I like. It's very well clear of my knees. I've got two 12-inch Garmin plotters as well, all the running gear, all the operational switches for running the boat, and then my controls. We do have what looks like an IPS joystick. It's not IPS driven, this boat. This boat has Volvo engines that are 320 horsepower with a V-drive. This joystick links the bow thruster with the engines in and out of gear. So you can have joystick maneuvering with V-drive engines, which I think is very cool. Obviously a factory option. Very comfortable here, place to charge my phone, place to charge my laptop. A very nice internal Helm Station. Heading down into the master cabin, this is something that really has me excited. So this forward master cabin on the M48 is an absolute work of art. The cabin itself is full beam, so I've got big hull windows on either side letting in plenty of light. Centrally, we have a king-size bed, and I think it's things like this that have really won this vessel so many awards. It feels absolutely huge. Down on the port side aft, we have a private shower area, and on the starboard side, we have a toilet compartment. So it's nice that these two are actually separated. It means each of them are bigger in their own right and just giving a little bit more privacy for those on board. Port side, we have this incredibly large settee lounge. You know, I've never seen a lounge this big in a master cabin on any boat, let alone much bigger boats. Really nice area in here. Sitting here, it really strikes me there's a lot of light coming in here. I mentioned the side windows in the hull, another window just a bit further aft, forward windows as well, looking forward, and also roof skylights. Obviously opening as well with fly screens and block-out blinds. There is a lot of natural light. We could turn all the lights off in here and it would look just as stunning. Again, that level of finish. The headlinings are beautiful. We've got this lovely patterned headboard as well. The whole cabin pops really nicely. Moving over to the starboard side, we have a very kind of sizable workstation, plenty of storage, a comfortable stool, and I like it here because you're working. You can be on your laptop, maybe working from the water, and you can look out the window and see the beautiful ocean out there. This cabin also has its own sound system, so a bit of privacy from the rest of the boat. You can customize the vibes to your own liking. Plenty of storage as well. You know, we mentioned storage in the galley, but I'm seeing a lot of great storage on both sides, either side of the access, as well as under the bed, under the writing desk, under the settee on that side. So this leaves very little wanting in this really amazing master cabin. We also have a TV conveniently positioned for viewing from the bed. Coming out of the master cabin, we'll now go down into one of the two VIP cabins, and these are really unique in their own way, which we'll have a look at. As we come down the companionway here, we've got a window right in front of me, so it really doesn't feel like we're going down into the hull. Often on a multi-hull it feels like you're going down into a hull, but this certainly feels light. Moving aft, again, we come into a very spacious cabin. It's quite special on the M48 because you have two VIP cabins. Normally you have a VIP and a guest cabin. There's a difference between the two, but these two cabins are the same size. They're occupying different sides of the boat, and they also importantly have their own access. So this companionway we just came down is dedicated for this cabin only. You're not sharing it with anyone else. The berth itself in this cabin is very large. It is a splitting bed as well, so it can become a twin room. The right hand side here moves over on a rail to create a twin room. Again, plenty of storage, good hanging room. Nice little feature here, the light comes on when you open the cupboard. So it's these really nice little features that make this boat very special. Moving further aft, and we go into the head and the toilet compartment. Fantastic. Very comfortable, beautiful Korean finishings. The lighting on this model and on Prestige in general is second to none. Hidden strip lighting, very atmospheric. It really adds a nice vibe with this beautiful walnut interior that we have. Having looked at the first VIP cabin, we'll head to the other one now. As I said, completely separate access coming down here. Coming into the VIP cabin on the port side again, beautiful hull window here, and it feels very light and open. Massive hull window here, and you can see the berths here we have in the split configuration. So this is a twin room setup, but the cabin itself and the berth, either together or apart, is exactly the same as the cabin on the other side. The main difference with this one is that the head, the toilet, is actually aft of the access companionway. Now what this does, it does mean you have to go through an extra door to get into your bathroom, but this also doubles up as a day head. If you're entertaining or you have family and friends on board, they can come and use this head without having to go into someone's private cabin. So very clever, well thought out feature. As we walk around the vessel, you can really see that there's a lot of attention gone into how the vessel is going to be used and how it can be easier and more user friendly. So for example, we look in here, we've got beautiful holders for all your glasses, your cups, your crockery, just really nicely thought out. Down the bottom here, we also have the Scheibe control unit, so we can see water tanks, battery levels, fuel tanks, and obviously our main battery switches here. So nicely tucked away, very accessible either from externally or internally. Moving up onto the stunning Flybridge on this boat, the access is in a straight line. We're not using a spiral staircase, so it feels very comfortable. I'm not cramped as I make my way up. Up on the Flybridge, we have a massive feeling of space. I don't think I've been on a 50-foot boat with as much space up the top on the Flybridge. Again, all the furniture is loose, secured with metal tie rods, so it gives you that flexibility. This is the factory option, so you can design your own custom setup if you wish. With this factory setup, we have plenty of sun lounging, and something I just absolutely love is that these are just loose, but they're very heavy. I'd say this is probably 20 kilos, this backrest, but you can position this whichever way you like to make it comfortable when you're on board. We have a huge dining area underneath the Flybridge hardtop, and this excellent sun protection, I can't fault it in terms of the covering that it gives you. You are a bit exposed at the back, but that's nice because this is a sun lounging. Right, for the dining, the skippering, the forward-facing seating, it's all nicely undercover. Again, a good size, you could get 8 people around this table quite comfortably. The Flybridge does come with a wet bar also, so we have a barbecue and a sink and also a fridge up here. So barbecues on the Flybridge are definitely on the agenda when you're out on the water. On the starboard side forward, as part of the factory furniture package, we have this seating bench which is forward facing, so we can get 2 people at the helm station and 3 people here. So it's a very social area. The helmsman or the captain, especially if it's an owner operator, is not going to be left alone. They'll be up here with whoever they've got on board having a great time. The helm station is to port. Something I like is that the wheel is on the outboard side. So standing at the helm station, I can see the transoms down on the stern, port aft, and I can also see the bow. So excellent for manoeuvring from up here. In terms of the controls, it's a very similar setup to what we have downstairs, but we've got more functionality. So we have 16-inch plotters up here, as well as the Volvo Penta display. So this is the main helm station per se. Joystick control can also be done from here. Again, I'm holding the joystick control. I can see the transom through the staircase port, and I can also see the bow. So a very well positioned helm station. Sitting down at the helm station, the wheel is adjustable, which I like. Again, we can sit here and very easily talking to whoever's on the Flybridge with me. People can be having lunch and I can be doing a slow cruise, so very comfortable. The M48 comes as standard with Volvo 320 horsepower D4 engines. These are connected to a V-drive, as I mentioned earlier. This will give us a top speed of about 20 knots with a fast cruise of say 15. And what we see is that the fuel consumption doesn't really change between kind of 12 and 16 knots. So again, it's a nice fast cruise speed. At around 8 knots, we can do about 1,000 nautical miles on a single tank. The tanks themselves, total fuel capacity is 1,200 litres. What you find on a multi-hull is that due to the design of the hulls, there's a lot less hull in contact with the water, so a multi-hull in general is a lot more efficient. Again, this helps to reduce the fuel consumption, extend the range, making it the perfect vessel for coastal cruising, east coast of Australia, Sydney, the Gold Coast, Whitsundays, absolutely no problem on this vessel. Moving back into the aft cockpit, I've been talking about 2 helm positions. There are actually 3. There is an optional manoeuvring position here. So if I'm parking stern 2 in the Mediterranean, or I just want a really good access, I can maneuver the vessel from here. I have bow thruster control individually as well, but I've also got the joystick here. So I'm on the back of the vessel, backing into the berth. Really nice little feature. Let's make our way forward and have a look at the very cool bow layout. Making our way down the port side, a lot of space. I've got full shoulder width coming down the side. a nice high grab rail, so I'm not looking for things to hold on to as I make my way down. The bow layout here is pretty incredible and very different from what we've seen on other boats. We obviously have a bit of a conventional sun pad here on top of the cabin, but we actually have, this similar design furniture, the loose furniture that we have throughout the rest of the boat is also on the bow here. This, as standard, is a clean bow. There is not any of this, but if you order the furniture package, you get this furniture, you can get the sun pad and the sun awning, so carbon poles with a big sun awning. So it really makes this space, which is often on a boat a bit of a dead space, not really used very well, it makes it another focal point. So we've got one inside, we've got one on the cockpit, we've got the flybridge, and we've got this, so 4 really amazing social areas. For navigation, when you're driving the vessel, all these cushions can come off, leaving the framing of the furniture for improved visibility when you're maneuvering. Under here, we also have storage and anchor locker. So great control here for the anchor winch. So on either side of this forward area, we have 2 hatches. This is obviously a multi-hull, so in the front of each hull, we have pretty good storage, but also on this one, they've been fitted out. So if you were to have a skipper on board looking after the boat with you, in this side, there's a cabin, a mattress, and a living area for the skipper. And on the other side, there is a head with a toilet and a shower. So it's actually quite comfortable in here. I'm just going to jump in now. So I'm actually lying across the vessel now. My feet are in the middle. My head is on the outboard port side. I've got air conditioning in here. I've got a light. What's it missing? Really not much. I've got plenty of storage. Very exciting. I like it. Moving back down the starboard side of the vessel, again, we've got that wide walkway. It's the same on both sides, so it's not an offset cabin, which is great. The Lumar hatches are flush mounted as well, so nothing to trip over as you make your way back to the main aft cockpit. So with that, we've covered every aspect of this new Prestige M48. There is a lot fitted into this 50-foot platform. It's very impressive to see, and there's nothing like it that compares. There are other power cats or other multi-hulls in the market, but this M48 has been designed as a power multi-hull, and I think that's evident throughout. The space, the onboard features, the technical aspects of it. It's really a motor yacht, really shines through, and I think Prestige have done an absolutely wonderful job on this. We do have other boats in the range as well, so we have the M8 coming in at about 68 feet long, and we do expect the range to grow and continue to build on this really an award-winning product. It's proven, too many awards to announce in just the first year of production, so very excited to see this boat, very excited to see the first ones arriving in Australia in 2024. My name was Joe Fox from the team at TMG Yachts. We do hope you did enjoy this video of this stunning boat. If you do want to see more, like and subscribe. And if this vessel does interest you, get in touch with the team and we'd be very happy to talk about it.